Welcome to PHP Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're on episode 184, another update episode.
That's right. And
Jam-packed. So much that I just cut off Mike.
Yeah, that's okay. All of our listeners are very used to that. They're like, when I finish a sentence, they're like, what? Mike has complete thoughts?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. But yeah, so I'm excited, but you're kind of making me nervous with how much we have to talk about.
Well, I mean, we have the fall seller update. We ran some experiments. There's a lot of changes going on. I mean, not bad. I think this is all good. And a lot of things I'm excited about. And it's crazy because we're not even at Q4. We're not even having Q4 discussions yet. So yeah, there's plenty to talk about. But how are things going for you?
Good, man. I mean, so one of the things I kind of teased last episode about some stuff I learned on eBay.
Like, oh, that's right. You worried me because I'm like, it's something I don't know.
How much of an expert I am not on eBay. So a couple of weeks ago, we decided we were going to do the auction challenge, right? Kind of figure out auctions. And so I was telling my wife about it, and we were kind of talking about like what types of items. And we had the brilliant idea of like, we should just like auction off all of the big bulky items that just take up a ton of space, right? Okay. So, or the things that's like, we just want to get rid of, like clothes. I'm not really interested. Like I can hold on to clothes for years because it doesn't take up any space, right? But like if it's like something big, it's like, let's get rid of that. That'd be nice to have gone. So we were talking about it, and I remember I was like, yeah, I want the auction in on Sunday. I want to do a 7-day auction. And she's like, well, today's Monday. And I was like,
a little late.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess I can't do a 7-day auction. Well, I'll just look through over the next couple of days, and I'll do like a 3-day auction, right? No big deal. I'll just start it, Thursday, I think. Yeah, I'll start it on Thursday at 4:00. That way it ends at Sunday, 4:00.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, and so I'm starting to go through, and I end a listing, relist item, change it. Because you can't, I wish you could just change the listing from buy it now to auction. It's annoying. You got to end it and restart over, because it'd be nice to be able to keep, the watchers and views and stuff. But anyways, I end the listing, restart it. It was a huge fee for the item. It was like 40 cents to have it. They call it a special auction time frame. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? Why can't I just do a 3-day auction or a 5-day? Nope. 7-day auctions are the only ones that I'm already paying for auctions, right? Like when I have my subscription, my source subscription, I have so many auction listings, but only 7-day listings. What's up with that?
So I think it's a relic from back in the day, eBay, right? Because it was all auction based, right? And so obviously it would make sense that they would charge people more for shorter auctions, right? Because they're giving a perk, whatever, right? At that point in time. But now, like, I think that's just something, it's kind of like the whole idea of like, why don't people pay right away? Like, why is that still the thing? Even with managed payments, why can't people just be forced to pay?
And that's another one. If you're doing auctions, you can't have them pay right away with managed payments.
What is going on? Like, why?
Yeah,
like, so it is 2020.
You have to have buy it now as an option in order to do immediate payment, right? And I don't want to have a buy it now if I'm auctioning off an item, because what I'm hoping for with this is I want to liquidate a lot of my inventory. So if you didn't listen to a couple weeks ago, the idea was I've got some stale inventory and I want to get some movement happening on eBay, and I just want to get rid of some stuff. So I was willing to put things up. Initially, I said like at cost. So if it sells, I'll break even. I put everything up a little bit more than that, but I'm just kind of thinking it'd be nice to get rid of some stuff and have that capital again that I can go buy something else. So not only do you have to pay for a shorter auction time frame, right? And we talked. I mean, it makes sense. Like if
is this like a rant video?
A little bit. So the Sunday at 4:00, as for the West Coast as being a good time, because that's 7:00 East Coast.
Yep.
So that ends up being a good time. But then there's some problems with that, right? So it's the middle of the week. You have an item you want to auction. You can't do it and have it where it ends. You should just be able to just set like your end date. The other thing you can't do, so you're stuck doing a 7-day. So I was like, I'm not going to pay an extra 40 cents or 30 cents per item to list these to end at a certain time. So I'm just going to wait until Sunday. So it was Sunday that I actually listed these. So a couple days ago. And then the other thing is, originally I was like, well, I've already done all the work on finding the items, so I'm just going to schedule them to start on Sunday. Nope. You have to pay if you schedule the start.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that kind of frustrates me. Like, I feel like that's where it's like nickel and dime. Like, these are features that I feel like should just be available, right? Like to schedule a start time, right? Or to pick when you want it to end. Like, so I was kind of bummed out because now I've got items, and I guess it's fine because it takes a little bit of time to end a listing, to go in and figure out what you want to list it for on the auction and re-upload it and then go find the next item, right? You're searching, you got to find the next item. So now I've got like the staggered start of ending. So I've got one thing ending at 403 and one thing ending at 407 and one thing ending at, and so it's just going to be a little bit frustrating to deal with that. But I mean, I learned that if that's something I want to do ahead of time, I guess just have them as drafts ready to go. And then at the time I want it to end 7 days before, go on and activate all those drafts. Like you have to manually do it instead of kind of just saying like, I've got time now, I'm going to schedule this to start. And of course it's not huge fees. Like if you know you're moving lots of product and auction is how you do things, paying an extra 5 to 40 cents, depending on how many features you add on there, it's not the end of the world. But when I'm trying to liquidate items, I don't want to have an extra 40-cent fee on items where I'm going to basically be breaking even on, No,
I get it. And it's one of those, it's kind of like there's that one box that always catches me. I noticed this the other day. It's happened to me twice in a week. And there's on certain items, there's like a little box and it's like, if you want to display larger pictures, it's $1, right? And I've accidentally clicked on that. And I've noticed that like sometimes I've had that listing up for like a year and like I lost $12.
Ooh, you have to pay per month?
Yeah, per every time. So it's like, why is this there? Right? So, and I wonder how much money eBay makes through the nickel and diming of people not noticing things.
Yeah. And I mean,
it has to think about it. Like, that's me, right? Just 2 items. Let's say I had 2 items that went a whole year. That's $24. Just me. Now, let's say there's 1,000 people that did that, right? We do the math.
That's $24,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's
a lot of money, and that's just a certain amount of people.
Yeah, and to try and be fair, I think I understand like, okay, if it's an extra feature, if you want your title to like dance, or you want it to like flash colors at you or whatever.
It's like eBay from the early 2000s templates.
Like I get that if you want like it to do something that nobody else is doing, kind of like a promoted listing.
Yeah,
right?
or pay-per-click or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I get that. I'm okay with that. But when it's like a feature that should just be a normal feature, like if I wanted to do a 1-day auction, hey, I got this cool thing, I want to create some hype on it. I can't imagine it hurts eBay. I mean, maybe I understand that them having something on for 7 days might just generate more traffic to their website over 7 days as opposed to just the 1 day or whatever. But I don't know, like those fees to me, those just seem like features that should just be standard. But I mean, I learned, and that just goes to show, because I haven't done auctions really since I've started doing eBay, that I didn't know about that. And so there are probably some things that you don't know. And the problem is what you don't know can hurt you when you think you know, right? Like when I think I understand like how easy it's going to be to set up an auction, and there were all these hoops that I had to jump through, and yeah, it's not the end of the world. But just something to think about. Maybe let us know in the comments below. What are you willing to pay on auctions? Or do you do special time frames, or do you care if it ends at Sunday at a certain time, or do you find that it doesn't matter if it ends at Tuesday at 12 o'clock? What are the time frames for you that are the most beneficial, and is it worth taking the time to do a scheduled start or to do a shorter thing? Is that fee worth it to you, or do you just find another way to get by it?
Well, and see, I did the same experiment as you did. And the problem for me was it didn't work. And this is why it didn't work. So I'm always a big believer. This is why people, when they DM me or message me like, Orlando, do you do auctions? I always say only do auctions for 2 reasons. One, it's an item that's hot, and you know that like you'll probably get more money by running an auction, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people. There's scarcity, which creates high demand, and you're going to be able to get that price super high. The other way is if it's an item, okay, that you are okay, like, breaking even or whatever, or put it this way, if it's an item that like it's guaranteed that you're going to be able to sell it, like I would say do it. But unless it's a hot item, like it's really hard to do auction. Right. And the reason it's hard to do auction is because people want their stuff now. Right. When you order on Amazon, like I hate it when I order stuff on Amazon and I got Prime and it's like, it'll be there in 4 days. I'm like, no, like I'm paying for my Prime. This needs to get to me in 2 days. And now maybe I'm the only person that thinks like that. But same thing with eBay. Like when I go searching for stuff I want to buy, I don't check the auctions unless I'm sourcing and I'm trying to find something at a deal that I can snipe. pretty much I'm doing buy it now.
Yeah.
Right. Because
that's a great point.
I don't want to wait for that item. Right. And the other side is, so I set up these auctions, right? And as a seller, to me, it's like 7 days, right? Like, and you do the buy it now price, but most people aren't going to do the buy it now price because they're like, hey, maybe I can snag this for cheaper, right? So they're going to wait the whole 7 days, right? So I did put 101 items on auction, and it doesn't sound like a lot for people who have mega stores.
I did like 10.
No, I did 101 because I'm like, I want to offload this stuff. So
did it go crazy? Was it just like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching?
Not at all. Like not at all.
Did anything sell?
One.
What?
I don't now.
Were your prices too high?
So here's a couple things. Okay. So what I did is I put every single tie that I had on auction.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
so you got 100 ties on auction?
No. That was only half of it. And then I put all the lower end Hawaiian shirts that I had. So like the Hilo Hatties or the Hilo Hatties, whatever you say it, the RJC. Like I didn't put any rain spooners. I didn't put any new with tag stuff. I just put like the lower end stuff that I sourced a few years ago when I thought that like every Hawaiian shirt pretty much would sell. And so I put those all on auction. Now, I still sell those shirts for good money. Like sometimes I'll sell them for 20, sometimes for 30. I'm shocked. Sometimes I may get like $40 depending on the pattern. So I listed all the Hawaiian shirts at like, I think it was like $12.99 plus $4 shipping to start the auction. Now, could have been a little high. I'm willing to admit that. Part of me was like, I still want to make at least a couple bucks profit on each of these. Well, that might have thrown people off, right? The ties, I think I put the ties at like $9.99 plus $4 shipping. And these were ties that like back in the day when things were golden, like the golden era of ties, like you could sell for like 30 to $50, right? Like I think about Harley Davidson ties. I used to be able to command like $50 on Harley Davidson ties. You're lucky now if you can get like $20 on a Harley Davidson tie, right? And so same thing with, you have different brands out there that made like Robert Talbot used to make a lot of money on ties, and some of them still do, but it's not the way it used to be. So I'm pumped because I right after we recorded that podcast, I went home. It was Sunday evening. I had it all lined up. It was perfect. And it was going to end the day before Labor Day. So, and usually I'm doing my homeschool co-op now. So I teach, and in the mornings, Mondays are hectic. So I was like, sweet, I don't have to teach. Like I can spend all morning. If I have 100 packages selling, I could, no, one. And it was so bad. I totally even forgot I had auctions. Now, here's the other part that I didn't like about it. Like you said, you can't just transfer it. You can't go from buy now to auction and back. Like you literally have to end the listing. So what happened is when it was all said and done, I went back to my unsold, and I didn't know that. So I just put everything to relist. So I had duplicate listings. I was auction and buy it now. They ended up showing up on my listing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Wait, so when an item doesn't sell as an auction, it automatically goes back up as an auction?
It ends up in your unsold as auction.
Okay.
It doesn't go back to buy now. So I had to end the buy it nows to initially do the auction. Right? Or you can convert them, but it ends them, right? So I had all these duplicates I had to find, and I had to delete all my duplicate listings that were on there.
Huh. Yeah, so I mean,
now maybe I did something wrong. Let me know in the comments, but it ended up becoming a mess. And on top of that, it dipped into my already post 1,000 free listings. So I had to pay for more listings after that. So yeah, the whole thing was a debacle. Like I just was like, somebody had DM me like, hey, I'm excited to hear how your auctions went. I'm like, seriously, man, like I'll talk about it on the podcast, but
maybe you should have just auctioned all the ties at 99 cents.
I'm sure I would have sold a ton of ties, but no, like I'm a long tail kind of guy. Like I don't mind waiting a couple more years for those things to sell because I'm not losing money on it. Like I'm still my cost was so low, I'm still gonna profit on it. So yeah. So that's where auction. So again, a strong believer, auctions only if it's a hot item that you'll be able to drive the price more because there is scarcity. And the other one is if you're willing to set a reserve price and get it, not reserve price, but you're able to list at a price that it's going to sell and it's not a loss to you. Like those are the only reasons I would ever do auction. So I think there's another one that I'm not remembering, but that's okay. So all right, I got some updates along with that update. So I finally gave in. I got a thermal printer.
I thought you already had one.
No, I had a laser printer.
No, I know you had a laser printer, but I thought you bought a thermal printer.
Oh, no, it's a Dymo label. It's for labels.
Oh.
Now, could I use it? Could I use it to like do small labels? I could, but I bought like a Rollo equivalent.
Yeah. That's what I thought you had.
No, I never had that.
Oh, goodness.
I got this.
Have you started to use it yet?
Yeah, it's amazing. So let me give you the story behind this. So Eric, the college picker, I'm telling you, he probably has some of the best technical content out there when it comes to like printers or setting up devices or shipping and he has a lot of content too on like what to look for. Like even his earlier stuff from back in the day was what set me up as a reseller. So definitely check out Eric's content. So Eric, the college picker, threw up a thing on Instagram this last week and he found the printer. Now, what he found was that there's this Chinese like private label Rollo that is exactly the same as the roller printer. Now, how much did you pay for your roller printer?
I don't know. It's probably like 140, something like that.
Okay, so you got a deal.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's about close to 200 now, right? So he found one where it was like 150, and with his code, it was only $75.
Oh.
So I paid only $75 for this thermal printer. And the awesome thing was like I went on the ad, and the ad like does not work with Mac. So I'm like, I messaged Eric, and I'm like, hey, by the way, man, I had to cancel. He's like, no, it works for Mac. I got a hack. So he has a YouTube video in case you're wondering like if it works or not, and he shows you the specifics on even like how to get your printer to print 4x6 because you have to set it up differently, like from pirate ship to Etsy to eBay to Amazon. Like there's certain specifications you have to set up, and he has it down to the science of like what is the level of darkness on each label. Like it's excellent. So check it out. So
have you been using it though, and it's nice?
Oh, dude, it is amazing.
Game changer, right?
It's a game changer. Now I'm still okay. I will say that the speed of it is nice. I'm not going to disagree about the speed.
Cost.
But the cost is what I love.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, is it nice that like I hit print and it's like, here's the best sad thing. So I still have my laser printer hooked up because I'll use it like for, when my son has to like print stuff, whatever. So the other day I had to print 20 copies for my class, right? And I didn't switch over to, I didn't like change the quantity like whatever on the printer setup. So I printed a label for eBay and it did 20, but it was so fast. Like it was so fast that I didn't get enough time to like stop it from printing 20, but I didn't worry about it. Why? Because I'm not worrying about toner.
Yep.
Like I'm just worried. So I think I picked up like 1,000 sheets for like $15 or whatever. And I don't have to pay for toner. And so, yeah, it's definitely a game changer. It's smooth. It looks pro. It's, like with the toner, sometimes it looks faded and I have issues. So I'm loving it. And here's the other reason I bought it. It is so compact.
What I've decided is that if I tell Orlando he should do something, it's an absolute no until another person tells him, and then it's a yes.
It's very possible. But I'm in love with this printer because like you see the videos when I go traveling and I do FBA. Like I bring the big HP printer with me and it's, it's hefty and I actually put it in my carry-on. But this thing is so compact. Like it's so small. Like I literally could put it in my backpack along with, the papers I have to go with it to print on. But it's beautiful. Now I have more room when I travel, right? If I want to do thrifting. It's an easier setup, right? When I do FBA labels in the hotel room, like I don't have to, because with the HP printer, like it's so big and clunky. Like if it gets dropped wrong, like something can get jostled on the inside. And so the main reason I bought it was for traveling, right? So I almost bought two. I mean, $75. So here's what's crazy is that I got the same product as the roller printer for $75, right? And it was really easy to set up. And it's crazy because it's private label one. Like Rollo, did you have to like use a CD and everything to set up?
No.
Okay, now does it work even though, do you use Android with it?
What do you mean Android?
Like Rollo, does it work with Android?
Like on my phone? Does it work on my phone?
Yeah. Like how do you print your labels?
Oh, I do all my labels off of the computer. So my wife has it hooked up to our Mac. And
oh, that's why. Because I was talking with the college picker today and like it doesn't have Android capability. Right? Where this one has it all, except it's not Bluetooth.
Okay.
So I still have to plug into the USB. but it was so easy to set up, because of Eric's video. The CD that came with it, I just threw it away. I didn't even need it. So anyways, I know I'm talking about Eric a lot here, but man, I appreciate his content, and I appreciate the fact that I have 2 printers because of that guy. I have the laser printer and now the thermal printer.
Well, I distinctly remember the podcast where I was making fun of you for bringing your big laser printer and telling you should bring a Rollo, and you're like, well, yours seems like big too. Like you have to bring all the paper.
I know, that was stupid. That was just stupid. Let's be real. Like it was, I mean, and maybe this is a smaller printer than your Rollo, but I got to look at it after this. So anyways, I'm not throwing any affiliate links or anything. I may push it on Instagram, like in a little bit, like, hey, by the way, this is the printer I got. If you want to take a look, I don't think the coupon code is available anymore. But yeah, I'm team thermal now. Like I am sold on.
Welcome to the club.
So there you go. All right. And then are you doing any Facebook or OfferUp sourcing? I keep talking about this, but it's fire.
I haven't mostly because I've been really, focus on school. Okay. My schoolwork is just intense right now. My career as far as being a teacher. We're at the beginning of the year, and distance learning has been it's been a challenge for students, been a challenge for teachers. Yeah. Everybody's trying to figure it out. And so pretty much every waking moment of my life is consumed with that.
Okay.
So I haven't had time to do tons of sourcing on OfferUp. Now, one thing,
and that's because Mike's a good teacher. Like, if you ever have a question about like, hey, teachers, they're doing Zoom, they're not spending as much time. Mike's not one of them. I want to let you know. Like, and there's a lot of Mikes out there, by the way.
Yeah. So if you have a student in my class, now you know.
Okay, there you go. No, I can validate. I try to get a hold of Mike, and and so Mike in the same building that I do the podcast, he has like a little office, and he's always in there. So
yeah, just working. But one thing that's interesting, and I didn't know if I don't know if that's on the thing here as far as like updates, but OfferUp and Letgo combined.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did. So I see it as a benefit.
Oh yeah,
Letgo was a terrible interface.
I sold a whole bunch of things on Letgo, and I've done some sourcing on Letgo. So part of me was like kind of like bummed, but the other thing is, if all it's going to do is just hopefully move those buyers and sellers over. You know what I mean? So hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. And anytime something like that happens, because I remember my brother-in-law, who was kind of helping me with like looking for goat cart stuff. I sent him like, would this be a good buy? And I think it was on Letgo, and he's like, I didn't even know this was a thing. This is cool. And so he started searching Letgo for stuff. So it's kind of nice that I don't have to double post now, because I was posting everything on Letgo and OfferUp. And so now it's like I could just post on OfferUp.
Well, you still got Marketplace that you got to
Yeah, for sure. But I felt like OfferUp and Letgo, it was basically like doing the exact same thing twice.
It really was. Yeah. It really was. And Letgo was annoying. The most annoying, what's the most annoying phrase when you do local? You know this because you probably get it all the time. When you post something.
What, is it still available?
Yes. Yeah. It is the most annoying, like, that should just be like, there should be an algorithm that like, if somebody's going to type that, it won't let them.
I agree, but I ask that a lot too when I'm like go to buy something, and
But do you add, or do you just, is this available? Like that's such a, like that's like asking a girl on a date. It's like, hey, do you like dating? Like, why would you ask that?
Well, to me, it's a conversation starter, right? Because there's been a lot of times where I'm like, I'll just do an offer. Hey, $70 for this. And I get a response back. Oh, sorry, I already sold it. Are you kidding me? Right.
Well, that's annoying in itself. Yeah. Like they should have just hit the sold.
So anytime that I
this is a rant podcast.
Yeah. So anytime, there's times I'll say like, hey, is this still available? To me, it's like, it's kind of the icebreaker. And they're like, yeah, it's still available. I get that that's annoying, and I probably shouldn't do it all the time. But then, you see some people who have like in their title, if this is still up, it's still available. Don't ask. I love waiting. That. I'm just waiting for the time though when I ask and they say it's already sold, and I'm just gonna go off on them. But yeah. So and I'm sure you've seen like the funny TikToks and stuff. If they're like Facebook Marketplace, if it was real life, have you seen those?
Oh yeah, I have seen those.
And it's like somebody's like got like a skateboard on their desk, and somebody walks in. Hey, is that available? Yeah. Cool. And then they leave.
Yeah. But that's what it is. Like sometimes it's bots too. Right? And it's scammers sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, the other day I sold a locker, and they did ask like, hi, is this available? So I replied, and luckily I replied, but I'm like, if it's posted, it's available. Like, but I am finding so much so, like I went to a thrift store the other day, and it just felt weird. Like, why am I here? Like, this is overpriced. You have the same stuff on your shelf for over a month. Like, no one's going to buy it. where I find out and I offer up, I'll be real, like it's not cheap. It's not like thrift store prices sometimes, but it's better quality stuff. And sometimes you get more, right? So it's worth your time and you're not traveling anywhere, right? So you're just posting things. I mean, just right now, I'm about to buy a pair of Harley boots for $25. Yeah. Would I have paid $25 at the thrift store for it? Probably not, but they're better quality, you know, and it's easy. It's on my own time. And while I'm running an errand, I'll just go pick it up. So it's been great. And selling has been okay. Selling, I think locally is, you know, people disagree with me, but I think it's terrible locally.
I mean, it's nice when it's just cash in your pocket though.
It is, but
No
the
fees.
flakes and you know, I mean, the nice thing I've been doing lately is I've been charging people a delivery fee if they don't want to come meet me, and they'll pay it. So,
well, the worst would be if they flake then.
Oh yeah, I haven't had that happen yet. I mean, I will not travel far unless I know for sure you're gonna be there. So
that's why they need to just have not brokerage wouldn't be the right term, but they need to have like some kind of what's the term? Anyways, it needs to be set up where it's got
a middle person.
Yeah, where both parties pay the money. And that's actually what one of the cryptocurrencies, I think Ethereum was made for this. What is it called when you buy a house and your money's you're in escrow? Escrow, that's what I'm thinking. So Ethereum was actually built, so everybody's heard of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's
yeah, Ethereum's up and coming.
Ethereum, I don't know if I'd say it's up and coming, but it was built differently.
I hear a lot though, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, but it's been around for a while. It's not like a brand new thing.
Oh, that's true. That is
but
true.
what makes it unique is it was originally created as a line of code that would have to be fulfilled on two sides. So it allowed people to use it as the base code for transactions. So it would be like both things would have to be true. If both things are true, then the money pays out. So both parties put in money, and then there'd be like a third factor that has to happen. And if that happens, then it pays out.
Okay.
Right. So it kind of acts as like an escrow that's all digitalized. So for instance, an example of how that would work is something like Uber, right? So if you were to do an Ethereum based Uber, or something similar to that, is you would put in the money already into the program. Then the code would have to say, if the driver gets you to this point, so GPS, if it's true, you arrive at this location, then it automatically pays out.
Okay.
So there's no chance of you like not paying out, right? So kind of the thing with like this, hey, you want to buy this? Yes, I want to buy it. You want to sell it? Yes, I want to sell it. We make a deal and then somebody flakes. Well, if with an Ethereum type thing, it would be all put in, the money's in escrow, and then the moment it exchanges hands, however they'd verify, right? Like kind of like the...
You could kind of do that with OfferUp, like with your credit card.
But how would you hold it? Like, how would you, like, if you charge them ahead of time?
Yeah. I mean...
if somebody said, pay me and then come get it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be like, no, I'm not paying you until I get it.
That is true. That's true.
But if it was like, I could put money into OfferUp and then OfferUp holds onto the money, and until I actually scan on the thing, like his phone or whatever, saying that I picked it up, then the money, he doesn't get the money, right? Like, so that if they had something like that, that might help reduce flakes, you know?
Now I did go kind of, I was very trusting the other day. There was an item that I knew flipped for over 100 and it was for 20 and it was up in LA. And I messaged and I said, hey, can I pay you $10 shipping and you ship it to me? And she's like, yeah, no problem. So I sent it to her and she actually Venmoed me back the change for the overage of the shipping cost.
Ooh, that's a nice person.
Like super nice. Like, and she was like, hey, hope you're having a great day. I'm like, I wish everybody sold like this. It was great. So, all right. So I just wanted to share that. Now, random stories. So I don't know what the deal is lately, but I have my inventory set up, but I keep having to send the message of like, I'm so sorry about this, but this item is no longer available. Oh. I'm willing to. So, but here's the thing. Never be afraid to try to keep that sale. I put this on Instagram, but I've had several instances where I've had to send that message. And actually, here's one where it didn't work out. The one that didn't work out was I had these two model train cars and one had more wear than the other, but I forgot at the time of the sale. And I actually did one picture, but I should have done different pictures and different listings. So I sent the one that was in great shape to the person that paid less. And I sent the one that was in worse shape to the person that paid more. And that person like really wanted the item. So what do you do in those kind of scenarios? Well, you know, they get the item. They're like, hey, this looks nothing like the picture. So I'm thinking I can make him just go away. I just refunded right away. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Here's your money. No problem. You're welcome to keep it, blah, blah. And then they messaged me back and they're like, actually, no, I still want the good one. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't have it available. And they're like, yeah, you do. It says you have one more available in your inventory. I'm like, what? No, seriously? So I go and it's still there. And so the issue that I'm having is my item quantity, like for whatever reason, has been off. Now, I think it's operator error. Like I truly believe I sent out the wrong one. And then for whatever reason, I might have put that I had 3 available. So
that's like, but if you think about it, like that's 2 pretty random things happening on the same item. Like one of those things I could see happening, but like both on the same, that's pretty.
Okay, but I'll tell you.
That's unusual.
So I'll give you another instance. So I don't know why, but NBC golf hats have been fired for me lately.
Someone let us know in the comments below.
Like I looked it up. I'm like, why? So in 1 week, I had 3 sales, right? And they're all new with tags. I picked them for like $3 at the thrift. And I sold one for like 25, one for 20, one for like 38. So I sold one and I went to my inventory and I remember I had stickers on the bill and I kept looking and I kept looking. I'm like, what? This hat is nowhere to be found. But the same hat was available without the stickers on the bill. And I'm like, oh, did I end up sending the better one to the wrong person again? So I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey, listen, man, like I got the same hat. It doesn't have the same stickers. Are you okay with this? I'm so sorry about this. He's like, no problem. Just send it. I'm excited about this hat. I'm like, oh, all right. So like I sent it off and close, right? So then another hat sells and it's with stickers on the brim. And I go looking for it and I find a gray one. And I'm like, but the picture is black. I figured out what I did. So what I did is I sent a track with me. So I had pictures of a black hat with stickers on it, but my description says gray. So what happened is the gray hat never made it into my pictures, but it was in my inventory. And when I was looking later for that same hat, the hat was actually there the entire time. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you tracking with me?
Yeah.
So I had to message the guy and I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm so sorry. You're welcome to anything in my store. Always give options. 2 reasons. One, it helps you not get dinged for having it out of stock because you can just put that the buyer requested to cancel. And the other one is you may be able to keep the sale still. So I said, hey, I'm so sorry about this. I know the picture, I know the description said a black hat, but I only have this gray one. Are you willing to take the gray one? And the guy messaged back, he's like, sure, no problem. I'll take gray, black, red, whatever color you have. And I was like, what is going on with these hats?
Yeah, I think we should look that up.
I tried, but the guy was happy. I shipped it out.
Oh.
And I am officially out of NBC golf hats.
Nice.
I'm done.
Nice. Yeah. I'm not gonna. People say that Mike is mean to Orlando on Pure Soul Podcast. So
not everybody thinks
so.
that.
I'm not gonna be mean about this, but maybe a little bit sloppy there.
Right? I was worried. Like today, I was scared. I literally was scared. Like I had anxiety. Because today I sold a World of Warcraft game thing that I picked up, I think, for like $10 to $20. I'll show on the Instagram in a couple of days. And I couldn't remember where I picked it up. Like I can't think of the last time that happened. So I don't know. I don't think it's anything serious. I think it's just Orlando has finally come to the place where like you just can't remember everything.
Yeah, that happens.
So, but this is what the fear that I had. Somehow in my mind, I created that I already shipped this item out. So I'm teaching my homeschool co-op, and the whole time I'm like, this better be on top of my kitchen cabinet where I think it is. So I go home because it was a $130 sale. So I go home because losing $100, like how terrible is losing $100, right? Yeah. I go home, I look, it was there. So now I'm angst. I'm antsy. Like I'm like, anytime something sells, I'm like, it better be there. So I share this. Why do I share this?
Because Pure Soul Podcast is about being real, and we all make mistakes. And some of you are perfect, and good for you. but we're not.
Why? Okay, that was the secondary reason. The primary reason was be as organized as possible. You'll save so much time. I lost literally like 30 to 45 minutes looking for the hat. If I just paid attention to the listing, or if I paid attention to my inventory, it would have all been resolved. Right. And so this can, especially when we get to Q4, like this is going to happen. It's going to happen. Whether it's this Q4 or next Q4 or sometime, it's going to happen. But do everything in your power to stay organized. So, okay, I think we're done with our update and random stories. We went on a little bit there.
Yeah, except I didn't get to tell my random.
Oh, what was your random story?
It's nothing big. I just so I listed some stuff on OfferUp, and you mentioned kind of the bummer about having people ask, "Is it still available?" Hi, is this still available? I got a weird one, and you mentioned scammers. I've had a lot of scammers on like Craigslist and stuff, but I had one where somebody said, "Hey, I want to buy this," and I was like, "Sweet, like that, like, okay, like."
How much?
Yeah, like it's up for sale. So, and then I got this response, and this is probably, if you're selling locally, you've probably gotten this before, but I'd never seen this one specifically. It says, "All right, I want to verify that you're a real person with a 6-digit code. Can I have your phone number and I'll send you a code to verify?" And I'm like, so at first I'm thinking like, this is a very paranoid person, but like, this is a person who's like, but then I look, I'm like, they don't have a picture. I click on their thing. They've only had a offer up for like 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, I have lots of reviews. I've clearly sold many things on OfferUp. You just started. No. And so my response was just like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm sure you can figure out another way to find out if I'm a real person. You know, never
you have a picture of your face on your profile?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'll do the spoon, right? Like, my face is on the profile. But like, if somebody was like, I mean, if I'm trying to sell something big and somebody's like, "How do I know that you're a real person?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I'll hold a black pen to my right ear and send you a picture. If that, like, tell me what you want me to do. I'll hold a spoon up." Like, but the reality is, like, for something as small as what I was selling, I mean, it wasn't small, but for like a $60 thing, for someone to say like, "I want to verify that you're a real person," like, I've clearly got feedback. You don't. Like, I want to verify that you're a real person. Give me your phone number. You know, let me call and talk to you. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'll send you a 6-digit code. How about that? And I've been watching like a couple of, there's this guy who's pretty popular on YouTube where he basically just scammers who call him up, you know, like the people who call up for stuff, and he'll pretend to be, you know, a victim of a scam, whatever it is, and he ends up like scamming them over hours of like content, right? It's pretty hilarious. But I've kind of just started doing that kind of stuff when I get scam phone calls, people trying to tell me they're from the IRS or they want to give me this free vacation or whatever it is. So I'll just turn around and start trying to sell them something or tell them about whatever movie I'm watching and just go. So, you know, when you get those clearly scam messages on OfferUp, have fun with it or just ignore it. It doesn't matter, but don't fall for it.
Yeah. Well, okay. I thought I was getting scammed the other day, but it wasn't. It was weird. Like I bought an item and I had cash in hand. And you know, the guy shows up and he's like, "Hey, can you just PayPal me?" And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because of COVID." No, maybe it was legit, but I'm like, wait a second. Like, you're handing me a. Oh, did I just mention what it was? I did. It doesn't matter. It's the season is ending. So it was like, and I'm like, okay, so me giving you this. Like, are you saying you're healthier? Like, it's safer? Like, my dollars are bad? Like, I didn't understand. So he's like, PayPal me. But then I PayPal'd him. And then it said, money was sent, but account doesn't exist. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, all right, well, that's not, I mean, I scanned his QR code. That was weird. Like, you know how on PayPal, you can send money, like you put, like, there's a thing on PayPal where you put it over and it reads a QR code. I don't know what happened, but it sent the money to the person that didn't exist. So I don't know. Anybody know what's going on there?
But he gave you the item?
He gave me the item.
Who cares?
So I know. Well, I was thinking like he could charge back. No, he can't charge back because I paid him. So that was good to go. But
did I ever talk? I'm sure I did. How did it? Okay. I had to have mentioned this on the podcast, but when I was moving and I sold my couch, person came to our house to buy our couch, right?
Yeah.
And because we're moving into the fifth wheel, and I don't remember how much we charged for it, $300. I don't remember, whatever it was. I'll just say $300. the person Venmo'd $3,000.
Oh, you shared this before.
They missed whatever it was. Like it was, they missed a whole digit and they added an extra. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're still there. And they're like loading up the thing. And I'm like, guys, come back. Like you sent me too much. And they're like, oh my gosh, like thanks for catching that. And so they're like, just Venmo the difference back. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Then I did. And then I'm like, am I getting scammed right now? Like, I don't really know how Venmo works. Like, what if the 3,000 they sent wasn't legit? Like, it's just like temporary.
There's no protections.
Yeah. And so I'm like, what if this is just their way of getting a couch and $2,700, right? Like,
no, I remember you shared this a little bit ago, right?
Yeah. What was it? Over a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, we have new listeners, so they haven't heard that. But yeah, be aware, like Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, all those, there's no seller protections for like local deals. So that's scary. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't a scam.
Yeah.
So, all right. Wow. We're in like minute 40 something. We haven't got to reseller topics. So
yeah. So we'll do those and we'll blaze through them.
We'll blaze through. No, but it's such important stuff. All right. Hey, by the way, before we jump into
really important.
Oh, it's really important.
Right.
So before we jump on there, if you haven't been following us on social media, we are Pure Hustle Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are also Pure Hustle Cast on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube as Pure Hustle Podcast. Hit that subscribe and that bell notification whenever we drop new videos. We may be going live here soon. And so in order to be notified, that's a great way to do that. We need to do the premiere thing. That's the thing now. Like everybody's doing premieres. So, so catch our premiere, our countdown. And then also, hey, appreciate so much for the iTunes reviews. They definitely help us up in the algorithm so people can find us. We've had so many people tell us that they found us like just randomly now. Huh. So that's been great. And also thank you all that are buying shirts, donating and so on, because it's really helping us now. And like we've mentioned before, we're kind of in this transitional phase between sponsors. And so any kind of revenue we were making at all to keep making this something that, was definitely worth cutting into our reselling time is kind of not there right now. So anything you've been able to do to help has been really, really helpful. So we appreciate that. And thank you. Thank you all for your support.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for...
Orlando says that the news is breaking, and it's breaking hard and fast. What's coming our way is important, and we're going to tell you all about it.
And here we go.
Right now. Take it away, Orlando.
Okay. I feel like one time we should have like a green screen in the back with like reselling events happening. I don't know what those would look like. But anyways, find out it's
just
exciting.
Like a swap meet.
just people
when you say a reselling event.
I don't know. All right. Hey, eBay fall seller update. Now, ever since Promoted Listing Gate, I've always said, like, we need to really pay attention to these seller updates, because the reason why that Promoted Listings Gate happened was because I think a lot of us weren't paying attention. Right. And so when eBay out of nowhere said, hey, you pay for promoted listings, but we're only going to show your listing once, even though you're paying for the promoted listing, like people flipped out, right? We flipped out. We had a special episode about it, but it was in the details. It was in the small, in the small print. It wasn't even small print. It was in the update the entire time, right? Item specifics, right? That was another quote unquote scandal or whatever you want to call it, where people are like, what? I have to do all these item specifics? Well, that was in the seller update. It wasn't new. We just didn't pay attention. So I always say pay attention, because eBay, even though it's it doesn't seem like it's connected to a larger piece, whenever they drop this stuff, it's important, right? So with that being said, though, we're going to skip a few of these because I think some of this we've already talked about. I mean, the first one was item specifics. We already had a whole episode, not a whole episode, but our last update, we talked about that. So if you want to know what that's about, eBay is trying to increase their catalog to make it easier for buyers to search for items. And so they're requiring item specifics in certain areas. And there's a great tool, OptiSeller, to be able to do that. So that was part of it. They were talking about that. Also on Seller Hub, performance tab updates. I think that's great. So you know how people show their 90-day total? You can actually, if you wanted to really flex, go to the real totals. It'll show you how much you made, how much you paid in promoted listings, how much you paid in shipping fees, how much you paid in this and that. It'll show you real numbers. So, but that's an easy one. Now, these are two things I liked. So there's going to be new therapeutic research available in Seller Hub. So it's automatically now going to show 365 days, right? But it's nice because it's going to also show active listings, right? And there's going to be access for a helper. So MUA, multi-user account access. Now, if you have a helper, they could do the research instead of you having to do the research. Now, it all depends how much you're willing to let go. But I think that's a big deal. Terapeak is such a powerful tool because it tells you how many items that sold of a specific thing were charged shipping and how much they were charged shipping. And it also tells you, okay, was it buy now? Was it auction? What was the best way? What were the price points? What was the average price? And what's nice, have you noticed in the listings when you list stuff, it'll tell you like the going rate? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you're like, whatever, like you shrug it off, but sometimes it's good to have that info.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's way too low.
Yeah, no, because eBay wants that sales conversion. And I have gotten DMs about like, hey, you guys talk about the algorithm too much, but I'm telling you, eBay wants sell-through rate. They want sell-through rate. All right. Now, I thought this was pretty cool here. So promoted listings. Now, this is going to be controversial, but I always am a fan of when eBay is willing to reward people that put in that hustle, right? So now what they're doing with promoted listings, let me scroll down to it, is so basically your metrics is going to play a part in how your promoted listings are used. So, and let me read it real quick. We're now restricting promoted listings eligibility to above standard and top rated sellers, which I think is great, right?
It's good, but how many people is that really going to affect? Like how many people are
there's a lot of bad sellers out there.
You think so?
Oh yeah. How many times have you should, when you buy stuff, you should see like, are they top rated? Are they standard? Like where are they?
Are there that many people who are not at the above? Because I feel like top rated and above standard, like I feel like most people are there. Like maybe I'm just totally off on that.
But I think it's good because it's one more way to separate yourself from the crowd. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know. It just seems it's hard for me to fathom that somebody.
You don't think there's a carrot?
I mean, I think there is, but I just think that it might not be as big as we think. Like, what percentage of the sellers is not at top rated or above standard? Like, is it 20% of the sellers? And of those 20%, how many of them are like willing to really put in promoted listings? Like, if they're not like a great seller, do you think they're really spending extra money on promoted listing? I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to make a huge impact, but maybe it will.
I don't know. I think it improves eBay overall. Like it makes people have better pictures, have better customer service, have all these different things because they want to convert more, right? Because being top rated seller, you also have to sell it to a certain point. You also have to have a very limited amount of defects and, you have to offer returns and all these different things. So to me, it's a benefit. It's a plus. So, and again, I think this is going to be something that maybe down the road, people are going to be like, what? No one ever said about this. I have promoted listings. Like, how come I can't do this? And it's like,
I still bet though, like if you're doing 1% and somebody else is doing 2% and they're a standard and you're top rated, they're getting the benefit because they're a higher percent. I bet it's just a tiebreaker, right? Like if me and you have the same item for the same price at the same promoted listing percentage, then the tiebreaker is going to go to the one that has the higher rating.
But look what it says here. It says the restricted access prevents below standard sellers from creating new campaigns or editing existing campaigns, and their campaigns will be automatically paused, but they can still view campaign data and download reports. To restore their access to promoted listings, below standard sellers will need to achieve above standard or top rated status, at which time their campaigns will be automatically unpaused.
Yeah, so I wonder how many sellers are below standard. Like that seems low because I feel like you've got the defect range. Like okay, like you move from top rated to above standard, but to go from above standard to below standard, like I feel like
I don't know. I think there's a lot more than we think.
I wonder if there's a way we can
when
look
I
it
source
up.
on eBay, like I am shocked, like at the customer service. Sometimes I am shocked at the way things are packed and sent to me. Like I'm shocked that I will buy something and they'll have like 7-day handling and they'll wait till the 7th day to ship something.
Have you ever bought something from a seller though that actually was below standard rating?
I don't know for sure.
That's what I mean. Like I don't know.
To be real, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I have. I don't know. So, okay, let us know your thoughts. Am I crazy? All right. Now this other thing I'm also excited about too. So let me pull this up. So they are not switching things up, but they're adding stuff to send the offer. So let me see if I can find that real quick. All right. So you can automatically set up things for offers to buyers. So like right now, right, if you want to send an offer, you have to manually go to each item, right? You have to choose the dollar amount and you send it out, or you do the percentage. Where now they are changing it. So let me read this real quick. Later this month, you'll be able to send more offers to buyers who have shown interest in your items and close more sales with our new offers to buyers automation features. The new feature will also help you save time and steps by enabling you to continuously send offers to new and existing buyers. You'll be able to set up this option to send the offer flow with a simple toggle. If you decide to stop your offers to buyers campaign, you'll be able to do so on your manage offers page. So I like this because of the addition of the heavy browsing aspect, right? How many times I'm on it all day, but I'll see something like I'm sending an offer and then something else randomly pops up. The reason that pops up, one of the reasons could be at that time, somebody is on their phone looking at stuff and right away I'll send them an offer and it'll convert. But let's say I'm busy. Let's say I'm sleeping, or let's say, I'm spending time with my kids or whatever. For a reason I'm not at my phone. This can automatically send that offer and people can accept, right? So I love this automation. I think it's great. And I'm to the point where I already know, like, this is something you all should think about. Like, what are your parameters? So for me, if an item is over, let's say 150 and it's something I wish they had a time thing too. Like you could, like if it's after a certain time, like you can send this kind of offer, but it's not there yet. Maybe in the future it'll do that. But like I'm open to putting a $20 discount on something over $150. I'm open to something that's, between 100 to 150 to doing like a $5 to $10 discount, right? Or maybe some of you are open to doing discounts, like percentage discounts. So I think it's I think it's awesome. I'm glad somebody thought about that.
I think that's good. In fact, it kind of reminds me of another feature that it'd be cool if they were to add. So eBay, if you're listening, a lot of people,
they're always listening.
A lot of people have said if if something doesn't sell, reduce the price by 5% every week until it sells, or every month until it sells. That'd be a cool feature. If it was just like 1% every week, item doesn't sell, goes on 1% more discount. And you can just select that as an option, or you could pick whatever you wanted it to be and then give like a rock bottom, but like not below $20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you could say like, hey, I'm trying to sell this thing for $75, but for every week that it doesn't sell, it automatically goes down 1%. But once it reaches 20, it stops. Like that would be so cool. If you could automate stuff like that, I bet eBay would have even more sell through.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I think like Mercari does that.
Do they?
Yeah, they do the percentage thing. I think you should be given the option. I don't know. I feel like sometimes Mercari doesn't give me the option and it just did it. But I think you have the option. So maybe. All right, the other items. So those are the big ones. The promoted listings and the offering stuff. I mean, the item specifics we already talked about. They talked about shipping. UPS is being added, which is great. I can't wait to see that.
No, it's been amazing.
I don't have it yet.
Oh, I haven't.
Okay, I'm gonna go right now.
Let me tell you, like, I've saved so much money using their UPS. Like big items.
It's been a great discount.
Their discount is amazing. It is really good. Like an item that would have been like $35 to shipped for like $9.18. Right, like. Nice. Huge difference.
Well, I noticed that with FedEx, if you do second day, see, I don't have it. Right? Yours shows UPS on your screen. Yeah, I don't have it yet.
Bummer, dude.
I'm hoping soon. But if you notice with FedEx, like if you do like the second day, sometimes it's been.
Well, do you have that as an option on the items you're listing? Because we have UPS already selected. Like as that is the, like when big items, we automatically send through UPS anyways. So maybe that's why we have it.
But this should show up, like it should automatically be on like the select service. Like you should still have the option if you want to do that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I know some people have it. I don't have it yet, unless I'm doing something wrong. So I think that is a big deal though. I'm good. I'm glad you have it and I don't. So, all right. And there's a bunch of other stuff. There's stuff with vacation and time away tool and some other items. But I think those are the key ones I wanted to show and to talk about. So maybe there's something we missed. Maybe there's something we should have expounded on, but I'm excited about the seller update. Now, another thing that a lot of people have been DMing about was Facebook Marketplace, like no fees until the end of 2020.
For shipping?
Yeah. No. I think it was just shipping, or is no fees at all?
Because there's not fees if you do local.
No, but for shipping. Yeah, for shipping.
Right.
I thought you said no fees on shipping. No fees if you ship.
Got it.
Okay, so, and there's people who have been telling me that like they've been selling stuff all like crazy. Like they'll list it earlier in the day and by the evening their stuff is selling. Now, it all depends on what you're selling, but check it out. I'm going to start messing around with Facebook Marketplace. I've been doing a lot of sourcing on there, but I'm going to start listing stuff now, which is weird. Here's what's weird. Doesn't Facebook have Facebook shops? So like which one? Like how do you know whether to do shops or whether to do Facebook Marketplace?
I don't know.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I just use Marketplace.
Yeah, and I it would seem like there should be an option to seamlessly be able to do that, right? But I don't know. Just my thoughts. All right. Also, so I am deeming Target the retail store that shall not be named. We've already had that title, but we're making it official now. So what happened to you the other day when you were at Target?
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing like huge, but I ran into a couple of those signs. I think you posted them on Instagram. But there was the reseller policy sign, right? And they had a whole sign that was saying they reserve the right not to sell product to resellers. And then they defined what a reseller was: an organization or individual who buys in bulk with the intent of selling for a profit, right? Like they had a whole definition, basically like the no shoes, no shirt, no service sign, but saying, if we think you're a reseller, we're not going to sell to you. And then there was also a few signs that were, the limited items, right? Limit one per customer. And I'm like, the things that there was on those, I'm thinking like, sometimes that's like a clue, like, hey, this means that this item is like going to be a hot item. But what I realized is these were just signs that were like stuck by an end cap that they hadn't put out yet. And so they're just like prepping to like put these signs that are like laminated in like hard plastic, plexiglass thing.
Yeah.
So they've got them ready to go. They're basically just got them stacked so they can start limiting items and say, you're a reseller, we're not selling to you.
Well, and the reason I bring this up is because you saw it, and it's always been rumor. Like, we haven't had anything concrete. Like I've had run-ins with Target. Like Target canceled my Circle membership. You know what the Circle is? Like you get certain money. Like they just canceled it. They basically gave me some statement that I'm a reseller, and so no, sorry, we're not going to give you any credit. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But, let me read it real quick. Target reserves the right to prohibit purchases of any merchandise to resellers. Like they're not like, bulk purchasers. It just says resellers.
And this was in the toy aisle, by the way.
Resellers are defined as a company of an individual that purchases goods with the intention of selling them rather than using them. Target does not accept resale IDs for tax exemption purchase of items. Bulk purchases by resellers are not accepted in Target stores or on Target.com. So it's going to make things interesting this Q4. I mean, I'm just shocked at like organizations that are anti-capitalist. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, did you see the Lululemon thing?
Like, don't even get me started.
Well, but like Lululemon that sells $130 pairs of their pants, which are the epitome of capitalism. And they had like an anti-capitalism class or something like that. Yeah. And I'm just like there's definitely a shift in our culture, like as far as understanding of economics. Like, here's the deal. The easiest argument towards all of this is Target is a reseller, right? Target is purchasing goods, whether they're doing their private label and they're buying stuff from China or whatever for pennies on the dollar, and they're reselling it to somebody for 10x or 100x of what they paid for, or they're going to a distributor, right? They're paying a lower price and they're reselling it to you for more of a premium. Why? Because it's easier access for you, right? To get the item.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a free market like fanatic and I absolutely believe in it. But where I think trying to see it from their perspective, I understand if I am.
You're always trying to see. That's good. That's a good value.
But from the perspective of if I'm Target's marketing department, right? Or just trying to manage their what they look like. If I'm a customer and I'm going in and I want to buy a Nintendo Switch, and there's no Nintendo Switches in the store, but the person who just walked out of the store had a cart with 37 Nintendo Switches in them that he's going to sell on eBay, right? That's going to make me plus the next 37 customers who are going to buy one for themselves upset. Now you've got 37 upset customers for Target who would have gone in and bought all kinds of other stuff, but now might be like, well, forget it. I'm just leaving Target, right? So they're thinking, yeah, they make the same amount of money either way. So it's not the issue of why would you turn down my money? And I think it's a little different for something like Goodwill where resellers might be a big portion of their income. But for a company like Target, they're going to make the exact same amount of money on the items they're selling. They're looking at how can we make the most number of our customers happy. And so if we upset one reseller versus 37 customers, there's a big difference of their image, right? So it makes sense that they would limit people from buying bulk, right? Because they don't want people to come in and say, I can never find toys. And that's the argument we get from people saying like resellers are evil. Now, again, I don't think that's true. I think that resellers provide, they bridge the gap when there's a gap in between supply and demand. And that's a necessary part of the economy. However, if you're Target, you're not thinking macroeconomic impacts of, these policies. You're thinking, how does this impact Target? Right. And so it makes sense that they would have something like this, but it is a bummer for sure.
Yeah. But on the same token, like, okay, so why wouldn't like the free market always fixes itself?
Right.
Right. So in the sense that like, okay, so maybe that person is upset, but then that person has a better understanding of like supply and demand, and they need to get to a certain place to get an item. Right. And so Target could go, hey, you know what? There's going to be a great demand on this item. Why don't we ask more from the supplier? Why doesn't the supplier provide more, right? But at the same time, there's a reason why things are limited, right? Because people are trying to make money on it, right? And so, and you've made this argument yourself that like what ends up happening, let's say those 37 don't sell, and let's say, now you end up having where there isn't the need to get more of a supply, right? And there's an abundance, and then the price ends up dropping and they end up losing money in the long run.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, there's, and we talked about that with like hand sanitizer and stuff. But again, you've got to think if you're just Target, right? And you're dealing with customers coming in saying, you never have this in stock, it's out of stock. But we know that there's people who are sniping it off of line. And the moment it comes up, they're using bots and they're buying 10 of them at a time. Why don't you limit it to one? So that way, those of us who don't have bots have a chance of getting one.
Okay,
right.
I can see that.
So that's where I think it comes down to is if they were to say like, hey, we're limiting to one Nintendo Switch, just as an example, because that's still something that's hard to find. We're limiting to one Nintendo Switch per online purchase. Okay. Then a person with a bot is going to have to try a whole lot harder to get every single one of them that drops online. But right now what they're doing is Target can't even sell them online. They refuse to sell them online because bots are buying them all. Right. So instead, now you're forced to keep going into the store, keep going, keep checking. Whereas if they were to limit one per customer, there's more of a chance that the average person could go and get it. So I could see it from Target's perspective that, yeah, there's an issue in the market, right? Nintendo didn't have enough. They didn't foresee the problem. They were charging too little for the demand of the product. Target could have charged more. Nintendo could have charged Target more, right? Like there's a lot of things that could have fixed this. But given that Target only has so much control over that, like they want to protect their reputation. And so these things, and even too, like
I think you have a valid argument. Like I'm trying to find a counter argument to that. I mean, if you can in the comments, let us know. But I see what you're saying.
And think too, like even if they know they can't actually do it, right? Like even if they know somebody comes and they have 10 board games that they're going to buy at Target to sell online, and they walk up to the register to sell them, and the Target lets you do it, right? The fact that Target has the sign creates the sense that when somebody's shopping, that at least Target doesn't let those people do that.
I think he's a plant. I think Mike is a plant because you're making solid arguments.
I'm going to see if Target has put the money into my bank yet,
or at least sponsor us now. Target, like no. I hate to say it, but I see your point. So and maybe I don't know. Maybe there is a valid argument.
But it helps resellers though, because then there's scarcity even for resellers. So people can't go into Targets, buy up all their stuff, and drop the price. So if you can get in, you only buy one or two. People aren't able to tank it as much. So it all works out. It's fine.
That is true. I mean, the other side of this too is how is Target like? How do they know who's a reseller? Like, right? What if I have a big family of like 10, right, or whatever? All those arguments could be made, right? But I don't know. There's something about it that bothers me. Maybe because I'm a reseller.
Yeah.
There's something that bothers me. The fact that I'm helping the business out, and maybe I would say, yeah, if I was on Target side and resellers only made like less than 1% of the gross, whatever the income that the company makes, yeah, who cares? I know. Wow. Okay. Well, with that, we're done. Have a great day. All right. Hey, I saw this. So UPS now. this seems like big news, but it is big news. So UPS is hiring 100,000 employees for Q4.
UPS or USPS? UPS?
UPS.
Nice.
UPS. I don't know what USPS is doing. I'm hoping they're figuring things out here. But here's what I like. So they're hiring 100,000, which isn't a ton more, but FedEx is also hiring 70,000 workers, right? So this tells me two things. One is that they're still expecting a big Q4, right? But if both companies are doing this, USPS has raised their rates because I believe that they're thinking that they're going to be able to get more revenue. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. UPS already hired thousands of extra workers in Q2 and Q3. So the fact that they're hiring 100,000 on top of that means that they're expecting a mega Q4. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then the nice thing too, and again, not to get political at all as far as the USPS, but I think more and more people are realizing that there could be potential problems with USPS long term. Now, are there solutions to that? Are there ways? Who knows, right? Like there's going to be differing opinions on that. But we can't argue with the fact that competition in the market is always a good thing. And so if UPS and FedEx are actually ramping up and are building the infrastructure to handle problems with USPS, if all of a sudden, people don't feel confident shipping through USPS because it's taking too long, items are getting lost, hey, UPS can immediately take on that extra workload even after Q4. So I think it's a good thing. I think I wouldn't be surprised if many of these kind of part-time employees kind of stick around depending on how things go in other areas, but having better infrastructure for these companies is only going to help. And again, you think about that. FedEx has got 70,000, UPS has got 100,000. They're competition. They're competing against each other. So they're going to have to make sure that the deliveries are happening faster and cheaper. And those two things are great news for resellers.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, to me, with the whole USPS fiasco was all it's going to do is going to create for innovation for somebody else, right? Somebody else is going to show up in the free market and going to provide a better price, a better service. And it's either going to force the USPS to do better or not, I don't know, not exist or whatever it takes, So that was super controversial. I don't know if I should have said that. All right. Hey, and the last one, this is not like a reseller topic, but I think it's the end of shape-up sourcing. Not completely, but I can't tell you how many times I have sold shape-ups and I get the dreaded message of these arrived and the sole separated, or these are deteriorated, or there's major damage. And so I posted this on Instagram. I got so many DMs saying, me too, this happened to me also. Oh yeah, this happened. And it makes sense, right? Shape-ups are discontinued. So the longer that they're around, the greater the chances of them being in poor shape. Now, the ones that I just had were like brand new looking. I mean, I tested them out, but I think they were left out in the sun. And I think not like the package was left out in the sun. I think that's what ended up, causing the end of it. And so, but be careful. I would definitely say within the store, especially on the foam part, make sure that you do like a great job of like inspecting, like actually like poke your finger on the side of it or do something to make sure that, it's actually working well.
Or the other thing you can do is you're selling a shape up and this is totally tongue in cheek. So don't take this as seriously. But what you could do is just say these items are for looks only, not to be worn. You're buying these shoes as vintage or antique.
No, you could do that. I do have vintage shoes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you list them as like, these are discontinued shoes.
Vintage shape-ups.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know if they'd be considered vintage yet or not, but I mean.
It's 20 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, list them. I don't know. What do you call it? These are display quality shoes only. Right. And then you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. And they can wear them if they want to,
And I've done that before. Like I've sold some vintage Vans that were big money, but I said, hey, these are pretty brittle. These are for display only. So be aware of that. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm trying to look up if I could see the history of shape-ups when they originated.
Yeah, we need to have like a shape-up documentary. I'm sure that'd be riveting. People would love to see. I mean, there was probably a pretty crazy fad for a while where people were, I mean, you remember the commercials?
I'm seeing a picture of Kim Kardashian like pushing. I remember, there was that controversial Super Bowl commercial. Anyways,
with shape-ups?
With Kim Kardashian.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
It was super awkward. It was anyways. All right. Okay, we've reached the limit of our Pure Hustle
there we go.
rating there. All right. So So that's our reseller topics.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. So, hey, but it is time for our next segment.
Bolo.
What's your bolo?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go with your bolo.
I loved how fast you wanted to change the subject there.
Well, because
so our subject, our bolo is for me, and I probably have already mentioned this before, but I've sold a couple, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. But car manuals for like specific cars.
Oh yeah,
right.
They're good. Mm-hmm.
I find them at estate sales. I think are the most often that I find them. Sometimes garage sales, but you'll be surprised at like a 1993 Toyota Tacoma manual, right? Or like part list or something. Even though all of this stuff for the most part is online, you can get the PDFs of them. People, if they have that car, a lot of times if they're working on it, they're doing stuff, they want that manual.
Yeah, right? It depends what vehicle, but some are more money than others.
Oh, for sure. Like if you've got like a very highly sought after year or make of a car, it's going to sell for a lot more. But I bet you, even just a random one-off, like a 2003 Toyota Camry, right? Like somebody's going to have to make repairs on that car. And if they've got one sitting in the garage, they may or may not want to buy that, so I've done pretty well on those. You can usually pick them up for pretty cheap because, if you're at an estate sale, what's the chance that somebody's going to be like, I have a 1993 Toyota Camry. I need this, right? Probably not. So you can pick them up for 50 cents or less a lot of times, and you sell that for $15-20. They're easy, quick flips, and they don't take up much room. And I love selling media, right? Anything that can go media mail is like the dream because it's so cheap, so easy, and you're not dealing with all the bubble wrap and boxes and all of that stuff. So anyways, car manuals, of course, do your research. Some are going to be worth more than others. But if someone's got an old car, they might be looking for that manual.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I definitely work and even look it up. I mean, there's some that are like not worth anything, but I've had some great success. And usually they're looked over. I would say in San Diego, they're not looked over. Like anytime there's anything with tools or cars, it's like it just gets swamped right away. So, all right. So I've been noticing this more, and maybe I'm late to the game. I posted this on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, everybody already knew about this. But so sports cards are next level right now, right? It's like insane the money that's there. But I'm not into it. Like it's not something I like. But I'm into video games. And what I'm noticing lately is that, I never did I think the day would come when you could get like video games graded, right? If they're new in case, like Zelda's or some Pokemons and so on. But I'm finding right now that even accessories are money. So like, do you remember the Game Genie from back in the day?
Yeah.
Okay. So like even the Game Genie pulls in money, but
or
like
Game Shark.
Or Game Shark, right? Those things. And the latest thing I sold the Game Boy AC adapter, new in package, paid $4, and I sold it for $55.
Nice.
And I had like some kind of expansion pack with it too. And so I was like, this is crazy. But what I'm noticing, and other people have verified this, is that like even GameCube, like it's funny. The other day I had a conversation. He's probably listening. My good friend Larry from back in the day. Well, we're still friends. He the other day he posted something. He goes, Orlando, I wonder like what is the trash item right now that's going to be valuable in 20 years? And I go, what do you mean? He's like, well, you think about how many items right now that people like didn't care about or discarded that now like you can make money on, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's like a McDonald's item or it's something that like no one cared about. And in the video game world, like which consoles don't make money right now when you source them? Can you think of any?
Right now? PlayStation.
Yeah, right? Like PlayStation, Xbox, right? Depending, right? Like you could make some money, but it's very particular, like Crash Bandicoot or some kind of video game, right? Like that. But Nintendo, you're golden, right?
I picked up a GameCube. When we first started reselling, you told me about GameCubes, and I couldn't tell you how mad I was because I went to a GameStop when I was right out of high school, and I bought a GameCube used with a used controller and a couple of used games. And I think I paid $35 total for the console, 2 controllers, and some used games. Because, nobody wanted GameCubes. They'd been out for a while. The Wii had come out, you know.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking about my kids' daycare. Like, they had a GameCube that had all the Mario Brothers games and everything. And, like, no one, like, it sat there. Like, no one cared, right? And actually, even 2 years ago, I sold a new and packaged platinum. I think it was a platinum GameCube controller for like $150, right? But it never hit me like the market keeps going up. And so keep an eye, because, when's the last time we've seen anything GameCube garage selling or even at thrift stores, right? It's been pretty crazy. Like I can find some N64 stuff, but GameCube is pretty sought after. And the other day, my son always wanted Super Mario Sunshine. And 2 years ago, I went to a garage sale and I bought a bunch of games, and one of them was Super Mario Sunshine. And I paid, I think, like $2. And he's like, Dad, can I have it? I'm like, nah, like I'm gonna resell this. So
heartless.
This was like 2 years ago. I know, I feel bad. So, the other day we were talking, I'm like, do you still want Super Mario Sunshine, son? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you took it. Like he did some, I don't know if he did stuff for the podcast or he did something, and I wanted to reward him. So I look it up and it was like over $100 for Super Mario Sunshine. Like, and so last time I remember it was like $50. Now it's over 100. Now the market might dip a little bit because they're releasing, I think on the 18th of September, like you can buy Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine, and another Super Mario game for the Nintendo Switch. Like, but still, people want the original like cartridges. They want the discs. They want the cases. Like you can sell the cases for some of these games for like $20. So keep an eye, because I think and maybe it's already here. Maybe somebody on Instagram said, didn't it already happen? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. But I think there's going to be a boom in collecting of video game items, especially new and packaged, and not just the games, but even the accessories. So that's my bolo.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you looking forward to, Mike?
I don't know. Not much. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if my items sell, right? My auction items. It's a big one.
Oh, that's right. We still need an update. The second update on the auctions.
And then, I don't know, like I haven't actually been able to source in like 2 weeks, and that's been kind of rough. I feel like when I'm sourcing, like kind of going back to our last level up review, when you have those little victories, it gives you that motivation to keep going. If you go too long without sourcing because you're busy doing other stuff, yeah, maybe you're getting sales, maybe you're getting through death piles, but the sourcing is like the life-giving part of reselling for me. So like you get into a slump. So it'll be nice, I think, to actually get out and do some sourcing. Part of the reason I haven't been sourcing is I've had some death piles, and I've just been busy. But I think now that I'm really working through these death piles, my wife is really helping me get through a lot of these death piles. It's like, all right, I think I can go get some more inventory. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
What about you?
So I already rented my cargo van for Q4. I'm going to have it for a month. And I know some people said, why don't you just buy one? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to buy one yet.
Dude, trailer, man, just like mine.
I know. Well, maybe I'll use the trailer with the cargo van. We'll see. But I got a sweet deal. I'm paying maybe like a couple $100 more than I would for a minivan for the cargo van. And so the only problem is it's only a 2-seater, because it's like a Ford Transit. It was a mystery cargo van. So hopefully I don't get, can you go wrong with the cargo van? Maybe you could, but I'm not mechanically inclined. So that's why I didn't get a cargo van, because having to buy a used one and fix it up and all that, like it just seems like too much of a headache for me. So I'm not going down that road yet, but I'm renting it for a month. So I better put good use to it. So starting next week, I'm going to already start sourcing for Q4, because here's the story. So part of the reason I got this cargo van is I had the hot item from this summer that maybe it's still hot. It's still selling well. And what ended up happening was I showed up into a town and they were supposed to have a ton of its inventory, and 3 of those places didn't have it. But then I showed up to one place and they had a ton of them. But the problem was the next place had them, but I had no more room in my vehicle. So I had to drive an hour back to where I was staying, drop them off, and drive back an hour to the other place. And I shared this already in a previous podcast, how the next morning I ran out of time. So the next morning I had to go out, and I drove 2.5 hours and the item was sold out. But if I had a cargo van, I could have hit all those stops. So my game plan right now is like, I don't want to do secondary trips for inventory. And then I remember during Q4, like I could only take so many boxes into the UPS store. And so I'm hoping that now this is going to save me time where, instead of spending an hour and a half, unloading and reloading boxes and driving back and forth on one shot, I can just take care of it. So hopefully it's worth it that I rented this cargo van. So part of that too is I'm going hardcore, and I'm just going to make where I live storage.
Yeah. So
like my bedroom's going to be stacked with like toys, my kids' room, the bathroom, like everywhere.
Yeah, that's hardcore. I mean, and you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. And the legend of the cargo van is way hardcore.
Okay. So I got to listen, if this is going to be the mega Q4s, the Q4s, I got to throw everything I can at it. And then in January, we'll revisit and go, okay, this is how many Q4s? Was this the Q4 that changed everything? Or am I just better off at like being consistent on eBay or going private label? We'll have to wait and see. So
we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Hey, and with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate all your support and make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Lates.